welcome to episode 34 of Arcadiology, where we dig up your favorite arcade relics. My name is Jordan Carruthers. I'm joined by my three bestest buddies in the world, the Wiggin Boys. Brad Wiggin.
What up?
Six Guy Wiggin.
What's up?
And Kyle Wiggin.
Saw dudes.
Oh, how's everybody feeling, boys? Besides for Sky, we know how Sky is feeling.
We're making it.
I'm hanging in there, bro.
You can probably tell from the voice, Sky hasn't been feeling the best here the last few days, but he's gonna tough it out for all of the loyal Arcadiology followers.
Say, if I get a clean track out of this, that'll be a miracle.
Keep that mute button handy, as you said. All right, boys. Anyway, what you been playing lately? Because I know this ain't the only game you've been diving into. So hit me up with it.
Not only is it not the only game we're playing, it's a game we barely even played. So, but we'll get into that. But the game that I've mostly been playing is called Sunset Overdrive. I've been playing it on my Steam Deck. I don't know if you guys heard of this one. It's a early Xbox One title from like 2014. I think it was like a big deal when it came out. It was like one of Microsoft's bigger games. But I missed pretty much all Xbox One releases. At that time, I was playing like 3 games, and this wasn't one of them. So digging back into some of the old Xbox games, but it's been pretty fun. I don't know, I'm going to reference like 5 different games here to try to describe this. It's kind of like Jet Set Radio a little bit, like the way you kind of grind around on stuff. Maybe a little bit of Tony Hawk in there as well. Like the story, it's kind of like a little bit cheesy and stuff. The game's like self-aware. It's like, I don't know, it's like doing a tutorial. He's like, maybe if there was a menu, I would know exactly what to do, or something like cheesy like that. So it's doing like little dumb stuff like that. But the actual gameplay is pretty fun. You're like jumping around. Like, I don't even know what you're on. It's not, you don't have like rollerblades. It's just, it looks like you're just wearing shoes, but you can just like grind everything with your feet. You're like on telephone wires, stuff like that. And there's like some parkour, so you're like jumping, wall running, climbing up buildings, and you can pretty much like climb and jump over everything. And I get a little like Dead Rising vibe with like, because you're fighting, I don't know if they're technically zombies, but essentially like mutated humans. It's like the story's pretty goofy too. It's like there's this energy drink, and that's what infected everyone. So there's just like all these infected people running around. You get these crazy weapons. Like the one thing I got, it's like a TNT launcher that has like teddy bears attached to it, so it like bounces off the ground and stuff like that. There's like tons of different like custom weird weapons like that, so it's kind of fun to switch around through them and stuff. But yeah, there's like it's just fun to like traverse through the world, because like you get in like a nice flow. You're like jumping, grinding. You get like an air dash. You can dash and like combo onto the next telephone wire, all while you're just unloading on all these zombies and stuff.
Is this the same game you told us about last week as well?
No.
That name sounds familiar. Like you said you were playing that before, or during the last pod. I thought you brought this up.
It was not this one, because I just started this one not too long ago. What did I talk about last week?
Was it Pizza Tower last time?
Nah, that was a few weeks ago.
I don't know. For some reason the title of the game sounds like you've mentioned it before.
I think I was playing that Metroidvania, wasn't I? Path of the Teal Lotus? That might have been last week's.
I think that was it. That sounds familiar.
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned in that one too about that it feels nice to run around and traverse through the stages. So maybe a little bit of parallels there, but very different game here. This is a 3D like action third person shooter is what it is, because you can kind of see your character.
I'm asking for a friend. What energy drink was it that caused this?
Oh yeah, you gotta be careful.
I gotta stay away from that.
I drink a lot of those.
I don't know. Maybe it's just the title of the game. I'm not following the story too hard. It might just be called Sunset Overdrive, I would imagine. Maybe just called Overdrive. Probably something like that. But
okay.
Yeah, stay away from that dangerous stuff. But what's pretty fun about it, with like, there's all the different weapons. You have like a weapon wheel, so you can equip like 8 weapons at once. So you're like unloading with one thing, and then you quickly switch to another. So you're constantly cycling through all your different weapons. You're never really running out of ammo. So it keeps the gameplay pretty fresh, because you're like shooting my TNT teddy bears, and I switch to this turret gun. Then you get this other gun. It like shoots out records that like ricochet off all the enemies and stuff. And by the time that's out of ammo, you're collecting other ammo from the other thing you originally were using. But I'm pretty far through it, probably like 80% of the way. So I'll probably finish it up somewhat soon. But yeah, it's a really fun game.
Well, I'm gonna keep mine short. I've been playing PoE 2.
Oh, okay.
So now, I mean, everyone in the world knows what PoE is, so I don't have to dive into it too much. But generally, it's an ARPG. I'm like, I have to say this for Jordan, but the whole rest of the world's gonna hate me. It's like Diablo. So, Jordan, I assume you know what Diablo is, right?
Kinda.
I gotta say this, but it's a better Diablo. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. It's like a whole thing between Diablo players and PoE players. But yeah, it's just an ARPG. Run around, kill things, collect loot, kill more things. Have fun.
So not only does Jordan not get the reference, but now everyone still hates you. So it didn't even work.
And now everyone hates me, and I tried to help Jordan, and he still doesn't get it, and everyone hates me.
I mean, he said it's better than Diablo. I'm not sure how I feel about that now.
You didn't even play it yet, did you?
No, not yet, but I don't want to play it now. Oh, insulting Diablo? Oh.
I'm just saying, give it a shot.
Wait, which Diablo, though? Definitely better than, like, 3 and 4, right?
Definitely better than 3 and 4.
Okay, we're cool then. We're good.
Yeah, 100% better than 3 and 4. I mean, Diablo was actually good 1 and 2. After that, it got a little weird.
Yeah, I'm still set in my ways on the first 2 games. I don't know, man. I love those more than, like, all the new stuff.
Yeah, I mean, hey, let me know. You want to try out PoE too? We'll take a gander at it.
I think it's worth saying the game is actually called Path of Exile too, because Jordan definitely didn't know that, and some other people might not as well.
That.
Well, so yeah, anybody that is in an ARPG that even likes those knows what PoE is. That's why I just abbreviated it. But I tried to help Jordan out once. I wasn't going back for a second.
You said at first everyone knows what PoE is, and I kind of just went.
Yeah, but you barely knew what Diablo was, so I was like, "What's the point?"
Jordan lifts his head off the desk, slobber coming out of his mouth. Yeah, I know what that is. Yep, I'm paying attention. PoE, yeah.
I kind of pay attention during this segment.
Kind of zone out a bit.
He just wakes up. That's the powerhouse of the cell.
This is when I skim my notes.
What'd you guys put down for 4?
All right, get away from me. I'm done talking about it.
I've been playing the last 2 games I've been playing forever now. Just the Pokemon Pocket game and Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links. They finally have a new event rotated in, so there's 2 different like game types in Duel Links. Speed Duels is like the normal one, and then they came out with like the Rush Duels, which is just like it's like a faster paced game, pretty much. But you have to have separate cards for each mode, so I didn't really play that one a whole lot. So now they have a normal event with the Speed Duels, so I just been playing that a little bit. And other than that, nothing really going on with video games. Me and Kyle haven't gotten to play Zomboid lately because I've been feeling too crappy to even get on my computer the past like week and a half. So yeah, other than that, nothing really new.
My guy just wants to play some cards.
Yeah, man. I love my card games.
Fair enough. We still have to play the real ones at some point soon too.
Dude, I'm so down. I found my decks, by the way. So.
Yes! Like Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh?
Yu-Gi-Oh! They're like,
yes.
I think it was some kind of starter deck box that came with like Yugi and Kaiba decks, I think. I think that's what it is. They're like, I don't even know if they're full decks. I forget how many you have to have in a Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck. Is it 60 or 40? I don't remember.
It doesn't, like, there's no maximum, I'm pretty sure, but I think the minimum's like 40.
I think I have 2, I want to say they're 2 40 card decks.
Probably.
I'd have to look through them to actually remember how to play them. But yeah, they're like little starter decks, so I wouldn't imagine they're anything too crazy.
I remember whenever the Yu-Gi-Oh cards first kind of showed up in America, and we had the anime and everything, so people knew it. But you guys know the game store around here, Gatehouse Games?
Yeah.
Yeah, I figured. I think we talked about it before, but I used to go there all the time, and I remember the one guy there, like he got the cards like before anybody else even like knew that they were like coming here. So everyone was all excited, and then found out they had the Yugi deck and the Kaiba deck coming out soon. And I remember, like, despite the fact you think watching the anime, like, the Yugi deck's the way to go, everybody wanted the Kaiba deck because it was either you got Blue Eyes or you got Dark Magician. Which one do you think everybody wanted, of course?
Everybody wants that Blue Eyes.
Absolutely, of course. There's only 4 in the world, remember? Except for the real world, where everyone has at least 7 of them.
So was it not that rare of a card?
I mean, in the anime, there was only 4 in the world. In real life, like, everyone has a million different copies of Blue Eyes. There's, like, probably, like, 4 or 5 different versions of the card alone, just, like, different artwork.
Yeah, they have, like, a lot of cards have the same exact... Everything's the same on all the stats and everything. It's just, like, different artwork, different pictures.
Yep. And one of my decks I have is a dragon deck, and I think I have a few. I think I have, like, 3 different artwork versions of the Blue Eyes in it. I just really need to find those decks. They're somewhere in the house. I just don't know where.
When I found my deck, I sent you guys that picture in our group chat. That the deck that I have came with a Blue Eyes White Dragon.
Okay.
That's just like his standard thing.
Gotta dig mine out. I know they're here somewhere. It's just a matter of where.
I like how they make that out to be like the craziest card ever invented, but like in the actual game, it's decent, it's good, but it's nowhere near the craziest card ever.
It's kind of depends. I mean, just in and of itself, in a vacuum, it's not that incredible of a card. Like if you just were to normal summon it, whatever. But I feel like they build a lot of strategies around it because it's such a popular card.
Oh yeah, there's tons of like blue-eye deck variations.
Other cards that like have effects that involve blue eyes in some way, like ways to summon it easier. So they can still make it pretty valuable.
Like the way the show makes it, like once he comes out, like Blue Eyes White Dragon, like
Yes.
it's game over. You might as well just scoop and go home.
And of course, that's whenever they had the rules where you didn't have to actually tribute summon. So it's just you have him in your hand, you just throw him down there, and there he is.
Yeah.
He's the strongest one. But yeah, on to me then, I guess. Besides for trying to find my Yu-Gi-Oh cards somewhere, it's pretty much just the same two games from the last episode. I can just give little updates on them as far as Radiant Dawn goes. Pretty close to the end of my next playthrough that I'm on now. So Radiant Dawn is broken up in 5 parts, and I'm halfway through part 4. So I'm getting pretty close to finishing up that next run. As far as the other game, if you remember, we were talking about Mike Tyson's Punch Out, and I said I got the Bald Bull, and pretty much like it was bedtime. So I played it a little bit more, just like maybe like another hour or two, like the day after we recorded. So I did beat Bald Bull, and then after that was the rematch against the harder version of Piston Honda. I beat him, and the interesting thing with him is there's like a certain spot in the fight where I think like he blinks or something like that, and if you punch him just at the right time, you get an automatic win. And I don't actually know the correct timing of it. I've just beat him every time just by kind of punching randomly and hoping I time it up right, and thankfully I always somehow do, at least once in the fight. So I beat him, and then it's done for me. It's Soda Popinski, man. I can't beat that guy at all.
Did you say Piston Honda?
Yeah,
I thought it was Piston Hurricane.
no,
I think that's the Super Nintendo one. That's the
Oh, is
Super
that-
Punch Out version.
Oh, they
I
actually
believe.
his name's Piston Honda in that one.
I don't know if it's the same guy, but it's a similar. I don't know if it's the same guy, but it might be.
Ah.
They have stuff like that. They have like real similar ones. You know what I mean? From the
Mhm.
Nintendo, the Super Nintendo one.
Okay.
Kind of rename them, but they kind of fight the same way.
I thought he was putting some Street Fighter in there.
Nah, man, no E Honda. Piston Honda, that's the one from Mike Tyson's Punch Out.
That's his adopted brother P Honda.
Sure. Yeah, you fight him early in the game, he's pretty easy, and then after you beat Bald Bull, you have to fight him again. It's like a buffer version. And like I said, there's that one little split second, if you time it just right, you can get an instant knockout. And I've just been lucky enough to hit that spot each time. Yeah, man. And Soda Popinski's just, he's got my number, dude. And I don't even know why. He doesn't look like he'd be that hard to beat. It doesn't seem like it'd be that hard to time up his punches, but it just is. I can't beat the guy, so I think I'm just calling it, man. I got the Soda Popinski, and that's it. Game over.
I remember Bald Bull putting me to sleep, man.
Yeah, he took a few tries for me. It's that charge attack that he has that you have to like.
Yeah.
You have to time it. It's like right after the because he hops at you like 4 times and punches you, and I think it's right after the 3rd hop. But I also saw like a thing online that said in the very bottom corner of the audience in the background, there's a guy with a camera, and the flash on his camera times up to the exact time you have to press the punch button during his charge, and so I've been trying to do it that way. But I did get past him. It's just yeah, dude, I'm done for. That's Soda Popinski, man. Which, fun fact, do you guys know what Soda Popinski's name was supposed to be in the original version of the game?
I have no idea.
I knew it was some alcohol reference, but I don't remember what it was.
Yeah, he's the Russian character, and his original name was supposed to be Vodka Drunkinski.
Wow.
But, as always, America's got to dumb down the adult stuff, so.
Yeah.
We'll dumb that down, but they'll still play beer commercials, though.
Nah, screw it. Yeah, that's all I got, though, so. You guys all ready to move on in?
Let's
Let's
go.
move on in, dude.
Yes, sir.
Let's move on in, dude. So, let's go ahead and dig up some Alligator Hunt. Alligator Hunt is a third-person on-rails shoot-'em-up developed and published by Gale Co. in 1994. taken control of, for some reason, small children on skateboards. Your objective is to take out a race of reptile-esque aliens who are invading Earth and then follow them back to their home planet to finish them off for good. So this game plays very differently than any other shooter we played so far. As I mentioned, it's third person, sort of like an on-rail shooter. You have a little reticle in the middle of the screen, which you can move your character back and forth on the screen, but that reticle is kind of the primary thing that you're controlling. It's very similar, like a Star Fox, if anyone's familiar with that. Probably, I think more people are familiar with Star Fox than Alligator Hunt, but it's very similar to an arcade version of that. So, how do you guys feel about this compared to the other kind of shoot 'em up games that we played in the past?
I kind of like this one for some reason. I was a little weirded out. Like, it just felt kind of weird that like I couldn't move and shoot at the same time, unless I was doing something completely wrong.
Nah, same for me too. You have to stop shooting in order to actually go left and right. But while you're shooting, you can do like a dodge roll.
Yeah.
I know you guys love your dodge rolls, but that's another kind of thing that makes it feel kind of Star Foxy. You got that kind of roll back and forth, that barrel roll of sorts that you can use to avoid attacks and move quickly side to side.
Honestly, after level 2 or 3, all I did was hold and shoot and just use barrel roll to move. I didn't even like use my normal move.
Same here, exactly.
I just got used to it.
Yeah, that's exactly what I did as well. Because once
Yep.
if you let go of shooting to try to move, then it's like there's too much stuff overwhelming you that you got to keep up with by shooting. So you just hold in, shoot the whole time, and then keep on dodge rolling to get out of stuff. 'Cause that dodge roll gives you like a couple seconds, maybe 1 second of invulnerability, so you can kind of like dodge roll through stuff too, and it's not going to hurt you. So it was pretty safe.
That's a really generous dodge roll.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I almost felt invincible a lot of the times.
And your crosshair on the screen moves really fast. I forget what game we played that had some sort of crosshair like that, but it was moving like super slow. But this one is speed, and so you can kind of zoom back and forth on each side of the screen.
I'm not sure.
I mean, it's not identical gameplay. I'll have to go back and think of what it was. But there was some game I remember complaining about the reticle was moving too slow. I can't remember what it was though.
So I think I just want to talk now about one of my favorite aspects of this game. It's what Brad said in the group chat this morning, and he was very right.
Yeah.
The how do you even want to say this? The translation, the voice acting, just the writing. It's all quite something. Did you guys enjoy those parts? The kind of like the cutscenes where they're talking to each other.
Oh, dude, I love that stuff. It was great.
Dude, I loved it.
Just the voice, the lines, everything was perfect.
So it was a little funny on accident, I'd say, but it was comical.
Is it? I don't know what you guys think it sounds like. To me, the main guy in the spaceship during the cutscenes, he sounds like a cross between like Arnold Schwarzenegger and like Terrence and Phillip from South Park. That's what I heard. Like I heard those two combined. I don't know why.
The best part about it is the character you're controlling is like no more than 10 years old, but he sounds like a goofy middle-aged Spanish dude.
Yeah.
But he looks like Bubbles from Trailer Park Boys.
Oh my god! Oh boys, all these alligators up here.
I also enjoyed how there's the woman who's giving you like your missions, and this 10-year-old child throughout that calls her honey, girl, and baby.
You can't forget Ho Girl.
Yeah.
I don't think that was necessarily the same general. I think that was more of a weird translation thing.
Ho Girl, always with the same bore.
Yeah, so I saved a few of the best best lines here. That was one of them. The ho girl, always with the same bore. What is it?
Like
I don't know what it means.
Giving him valuable information. He's like, "Oh, you're boring me.
What else
Stop
was
annoying
there?
me with all this crucial information I need."
Now I'll break down their devil planet. When she's giving him his mission, how you burden me.
Oh, girl, how you burden me?
I don't even know what he's trying to say here. They're no beast to stop me. And they're spelled THE''RE. They just forgot the Y. They're no beast to stop me. To stop the flow and tell me what's on. I don't know what he's saying. What he's saying half the time.
Millennials, dude.
The woman is telling you your mission, and she gives you like the three points of attack that you need to hit. And the second one, she just says, "Second, the general stuff."
Yeah, I like that one.
The general. What is it? What stuff? What
The general stuff.
Where am I going next? General stuff.
was like, attack the missile silo. I was like, oh, that makes sense. And she's like, next, the general stuff.
I need a little bit more specific information. I don't want to blow up any civilian buildings now. Jeez.
Another one of my favorite lines from him. He's like, "Okay, honey, I'm going to smash them."
I saved that one too. I think that was actually the last one I typed up that I saved. That was a good one. I don't know if anyone else noticed this too, but I kind of chuckled every time that she did it. I don't know, maybe I'm the only one that finds it funny. Whenever she was giving you your mission, and at the end she'd kind of give you like a good luck, and she would finish her sentence, pause for like 2 seconds, and then just throw up this little quick thumbs up. And it just looked really awkward after like the little pause. It's like she just kind of forgot what she was saying, and thumbs up. There you go.
I mean, while we're on that same topic, how about the other dialogue with like after you finish a stage, it gives you, or not even after you finish a stage, when you finish like a screen, it gives you like 2 ratings. There's brutality and efficiency, or the 2 or something like. I think that's what it said. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, the brutality and efficacy meters.
Efficacy, okay. And did you take note of any of those ones?
Yeah, I just actually on the video right now I'm watching, it just said "You are furious."
Yeah, there's some of my favorite ones. Like it gives you ones like if you do good or if you do bad. Some of the good ones, it says beat them more, well done with no mercy. The one you said you are furious. The one just comes and says you are a great guy. That's one of like the messages. And then if you do bad, these ones are great. The one that says ha ha ha, you will soon be over. And the other one says ungainly, you do it terribly. And the other one says, until you will not survive. So there's like trash talk you if you're not doing good. It just comes up and insults you.
I kind of thought they were pretty bad lines, but I didn't pay a whole lot of attention to them.
They come up quick.
Maybe that's why he's so mean to the mission control girl, because everybody's trashing him every level.
Right?
True.
So he has to offload that anger onto her. They're all, you suck, you're terrible, do better. He's like, hey, here's some valuable info. He goes, oh, you're burning me.
How you burden me, woman.
How you burden me?
Dude, yeah, the accent that they have is wild. I mean, Gaelco is it's based out of Spain, I believe. And I think I also read that even in the original version of their game over there in Spain, they still do those lines in English for some reason. So this is how it sounds. It's just these people from Spain trying to talk in very poor English.
I just had a budget for one recording. That's it. Can't do two different languages.
So do those meters really do anything for you? Like we said, there's the brutality and the efficacy meter. Pretty much just more or less at the end of a section, it gives you an idea of just how many enemies you accurately took down. But do you really get anything from them, or is it just like a, hey, here's how you did? I didn't notice it like did anything for you.
I think it's just pretty much this is what you did, and then it gives you a little message. I don't know that it matters beyond that.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I didn't see it affecting anything.
Fair enough. So stage-wise, I think the most interesting part here is the fact that it's kind of split into 2 parts. Like you have a stage or 2 at the beginning where you're just the kid on his skateboard on Earth. First of all, kids with the rolling on the ground and whatnot never falls off his board. Tony Hawk could be very proud. He's very good. But you have those first few basic stages on the board, and then he kind of just steals their spaceship and takes off into space for the remainder of the game. Are there any stages that kind of stood out to you guys? I feel like it kind of just rolls into the next stage pretty fast. It doesn't really split them up very well, I think, but are there any that stood out to you, or even just any aspects of the stages you guys want to talk about?
I just wasn't ready for it to switch. When you're like, I thought the whole game was going to be on a skateboard, and then all of a sudden, like pretty quickly, you get into the spaceship and start flying around.
That's my exact same thought. It was like the title screen and everything's like 2 kids on skateboards, and the first level he's on a skateboard, and it's like you're literally in like a airplane hangar. And as soon as you kill like the couple enemies that are there, your guy just immediately gets into a spaceship, and that's like the end of it.
I really like that first stage though, like before you do get in the ship. I like when like how Kyle was talking about you're in the hangar. There was like a quick outside section too. It's kind of like a post-apocalyptic setting. Everything's like burning and stuff. There's like these 3 giant, like 3-story tall robots that come crashing down as you shoot them and stuff. And I really like the way that the game, it does it all throughout the game, but specifically on that stage too. It's like there's like 3 layers. Like there's the enemies that are kind of right in front of you. There's some that are like a little further back, and there's ones that are like way in the distance, like almost kind of like foggy or like black from being so far away. And you can actually shoot everything that you can see. So that actually made it pretty fun shooting everything in the background too.
Yeah, it's a lot. I wasn't even sure a lot of the time like what I couldn't shoot, because like almost everything you can just blow up.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
multiple
pretty
stuff in
much.
the background. It looks like background, then I start shooting and it explodes. I'm like, what? I'm shooting that thing way back there?
I really like those big walker enemies on that stage you're talking about, the one where you're outside on the skateboard. The ones you have
Yeah.
to like shoot, like you have to specifically shoot them in the head to take them down. That's another thing. There's like a lot of enemies and even kind of like enemy-based ships and whatnot where you have to shoot them in specific spots to really finish them off. I thought that was kind of cool too.
Look like a Star Wars level or something. Them
Yeah,
big walkers.
there's definitely a lot of like Star Wars and Star Fox vibes throughout this game.
Yeah.
That was probably like the only level that actually stood out though, because like after that, once you get into the ship and you're flying around, I feel like it kind of ramps up the enemies, and there's so much going on, and you're trying to shoot so many things that like I couldn't pay attention to what the background looked like.
Yeah, that was another thing I was gonna say is everything in this game happens pretty fast because 2 points we typically always hit on these episodes are stages and enemies, and I really don't think like everything it happens so fast. You kill these enemies so fast. I don't even think we could really talk about what enemies you did or didn't like very well because they're just there and gone in a flash. I mean, if there are any you guys remember, by all means, feel free to talk about them. But I don't recall any enemies that really stick in my head because it just happens so fast.
Yeah, I mean, there's not too many like, I mean, like sprite wise, they look different, but like they all,
Yeah.
most of them like do the same thing, so it's not like it even matters what they look like. I will say like sometimes it's cool when you shoot them and like the little alligator that's controlling the ship pops out. And
Uh-huh.
you can shoot them for bonus points.
Well, you get
like, extra
missiles for
missiles,
shooting them. Yeah, that's super valuable. So there's a lot of spots like that where you'll have the little alligator, reptile, whatever aliens and their little space pods. And as Kyle said, you can shoot them out of the pod, and then you can actually shoot them and kind of bounce them around on the screen for a bit until they fly away. And yet every time you shoot one, you get an extra missile, and it's very easy to load up on missiles. I mean, I've had 99 like a few times because I would typically try to save them for the bosses or something, and I would very easily load up on those. It was not hard to at all.
Yeah, cause you could shoot the same. Like there would be like multiple little alligators, but you could shoot all of them, whatever one you decided to shoot. But you could shoot them multiple times and get like multiple missiles out of each one of them.
If you just like keep juggling them, they keep bouncing up in the air until they go off the screen. You can just keep racking
Yeah.
them up. And also, whenever sometimes enemies will drop points, and if you keep shooting like the points falling down from the sky, it keeps on increasing too. It goes up to like 20,000 or something, I think was the max. But I didn't focus on that too much. But there were definitely moments where I was just trying to rack up the score because it was kind of fun. It's like another object to shoot. But speaking of the like the little alligators in the sky, in the spacesuits, the ones flying in the air, I really like the ones. I don't really remember what they did like as an enemy, but whenever you kill them, like their spacesuit like puffs up and they explode like all over the screen. Those guys are pretty cool whenever you actually defeated them. They were like super animated, look like really cartoony. I don't know if you guys know which ones I'm talking about.
Yeah, they like you had to kill them like twice, kind of.
I don't know. I just know you like kill them and they just kind of explode in the air, like when you're up in outer space.
Yeah, I feel like I remember shooting those guys. Like they're in a ship at first, and you shoot, but like they die pretty quick, so it's hard to tell. But I think they have like one little phase where they kind of like blow up, and then you just keep shooting them, and then they like their ship blows up first, and then they blow up or something weird.
I don't know. May or may not be the same enemy, but I mostly just focus on like the animation when you kill them. It's just like they puff up inside this suit and the whole thing explodes. It just looked pretty cool, I thought.
I think it's stage 2, maybe, like when you're on like the planet's surface. I thought that was kind of cool. Like you see like a little whatever, like sand dunes or mountains, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And the enemies like slowly come up from behind the mountains. You shoot them, and after you clear them out, like your ship, like it looks like you're flying like forward over the mountains, and like you see the next layer scroll up. Like it kind of like you kind of go through like the depth of the level. It looks pretty cool.
Yeah, that's definitely one that stuck out to me. That like desert looking stage. It's just like you keep on progressing through the stage, like forward. You can see stuff in the background a little bit. It just looks like it's part of the background. Like you said, once you clear it up, you like go up over the hill, and it's like you're further into that background. There's like so many layers to it. That stage was actually really cool.
Yeah, like on that stage that you're kind of taking out a lot of like their fortress rather than just the enemies.
You guys are working your way through their base.
Yeah, pretty much like you're shooting down walls and like the turret guns and stuff like that rather than just the spaceships coming at you.
Yeah, you got to take out the weapons factory and the general stuff while you're there.
Yeah,
it's
don't
really
forget the
important.
general stuff, dude. That's very important.
I don't know
Yeah.
how much more specific I can be. It's general stuff.
I don't see the general stuff anywhere, ma'am. Baby.
You're looking too hard. Just get a wider view, just in general.
Also, it's worth noting that when you're killing the enemies, you can not only do you have like the dodge roll that can iframe some of the bullets and stuff, but you can also shoot, I think, almost every single projectile that comes at you.
Yeah, you kind of have to for a lot of the bosses, especially.
Yeah, I think everything but like the lasers you can pretty much shoot, and you can play pretty defensive if you just shoot everything that comes at you.
I think the lasers you can too. You just kind of got to be fast as hell because they're obviously much faster.
Yeah, I shot a couple lasers.
Oh wow, I didn't know they were like instant. There's like those orange sweeping ones that kind of come out at an angle. It's like as soon as they shoot it, it like hits you.
Okay, no, I don't think them like the really long like little thin beams that go like the whole level.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah, I think the slower ones that are like kind of like I don't know, like
Like the
little
green
pulses. Yeah,
okay, yeah. I
you
know
can
what
shoot
mean.
those ones, but yeah, those sweeping ones actually got me a couple times. 'Cause they come out at like a weird angle I'm not expecting.
Yeah, they snipe you out if you don't pay attention. But I think in general, most of the stuff in this game is pretty fair. Like sometimes there can be a lot of stuff on the screen, but it's not like something instantly comes out and attacks you. There's always like a little bit of an animation. Like you can see like the robots like climbing up over the hill, or you can see like the enemies like opening up something and popping out. So they give you like a visual cue that you can actually kill something before it even gets to you. So overall, that was pretty nice.
Yeah, I agree. There was definitely no point in this game where I felt like it was necessarily unfair. I will say maybe the final boss was pretty tough. Not impossible, but I think if anything this game was like a little on the unfair side, it was maybe him. But besides for that, yeah, there was no point in this game where I thought that this was too hard. The difficulty felt pretty solid.
I don't know if I quite agree about the final boss. I don't think he was that bad. I'm sure we'll talk about him more in depth, but one of the things that I kind of got annoyed with, it was like there was no, like we were talking about the dodge roll, and you do that, you're invincible, but if you take a hit, you don't have like any invincibility. If there's two bullets, you're getting hit by both of them if you don't move. Or as soon as you put another credit in and respawn, you're immediately able to get hit again. It's like there's no time to breathe. So it's like as soon as I died, it was kind of spiraled out of control a couple times because I didn't realize that. That was the only thing that kind of caught me off guard.
Yeah, I feel like they're probably just so generous with everything else, so they're like, we're not going to give them like iframes when they spawn.
They got to get you somewhere.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we can get into the bosses. Are there any bosses that stood out to you guys that you want to talk about? There aren't a ton in this game, but there's a handful.
One thing we kind of skipped about the stages, like the air, before you get into the spaceship, there's like that little spaceship mini game. Like you got to make the airship like stay in the lane and kind of fly. We kind of skipped over that one.
So, yeah, there's a button mash mini game, which I love me a good button masher, but yeah, it's right after that second stage. Whenever you get in the spaceship for the first time, you have to just mash the button as hard as you can to get your spaceship up to a certain speed to take off. But then you also have to be careful because it will kind of start leaning back and forth, left and right, and bounce off the wall. So you kind of also have to use the D-pad at the same time, or the joystick at the same time to keep yourself from bumping into the wall. Because if you do, your speed will stop. So just a little bonus mini game just to kind of get you into those spaceship stages.
Can you actually lose on that level?
Yeah, I'm confused. I
You
didn't
can.
mash any button.
I didn't either. I just kept it in the lane and it sped up by itself.
Yeah, that's
Really?
what I did.
I
Huh.
thought you had to mash the button.
I was mashing
Nope.
fire. I don't know if you had to, but that's what I was doing.
Yeah, that's what I was doing. I definitely thought you had to mash the button.
No, I just tilted left and right and stayed in the center of the lane. If you go too far to the sides, you like bump into it and slow down.
Yeah, I know that part, but
I didn't hit any other buttons for that. I just tried to stay in the middle, and after you hit like the speed like 280, and then you have to hit like I don't even know if it's a button or maybe you just press down or something, and then you start lifting off.
Yeah, I think
Yeah, you
like,
pull
pulled back
down.
on the joystick.
Yep. Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool though.
I'm curious if you didn't like take off, would it do it automatically, or I wonder if there's a point where you actually just blow up or lose that level.
Oh, you can fail. I failed.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Oh, I wasn't sure.
Yeah, you blow up and got to restart that little section over again.
What happens?
I think it just explodes. Like you run out of runway at the end of it, and you don't take off. I think you just like I don't know if you fall down or explode, but I know I had to restart it because I had to use an additional credit on there. So I kept bouncing.
Oh.
It's like once you start bouncing off the walls, it's like you can't regain control. Like I kept trying to go back left and right. It wouldn't go the direction I wanted it to at all. So I just kept on bouncing back and forth. I never got up to 280 and just died.
B just flies off the edge. Ah, what a drag!
Right now, I'm wondering. I need to go back and look at this because how does that even make sense? If because you get into a very you enter a very large ship, and then from that very large ship, there's a runway coming out of it for a smaller ship.
Well, I mean, looking at like the way the first stage, I'm calling it the first stage, like when you're on foot, when it ends, you get into what looks like a giant ship, but I think it's just like the perspective. You know what I mean? It kind of zooms out whenever you're on the runway. It's just you inside of it, maybe. I don't really know. It looks like the same ship.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. Maybe it is a small ship, but on the first level it's really big looking because you're walking up next to it.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I was confused. I was like, wait a minute, if we're already in a ship, why are we leaving the ship on another ship, but it needs a runway to leave? Also, just funny, the YouTube video that Skylar linked us, how it has like the timestamps. If you keep going, you get to like the 16-minute timestamp. They actually named that one, or I'm sorry, the like 17-minute timestamp. They actually named it General Stuff. That's like what the level is called.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's what it is. It's general stuff.
Unless that's your guy's last name, he's like a high ranking, so he's General Stuff.
General stuff.
But he's also a 10-year-old skateboarder.
But yeah, that was probably pretty much it for the stages, I would say.
Yeah, fair enough. If, like I said then before, if there's any bosses you guys want to talk about, we'll save the final boss for last. But like I said, there aren't a ton of bosses in this game, but I feel like there are a few we could talk about at least. So what stood out to you guys?
I thought the one spaceship was kind of cool, where it's like almost like an oval looking thing, and then it has each little compartment opens up and it has like 2 lasers in that shoot at you. And it just slowly opens up one by one, and you got to blow up that compartment before it closes back up. So you like slowly work your way across like the whole screen. There's like little sections everywhere. There's probably like, I don't know, like 20 different sections you have to blow up. And then after you eventually do all that, then the whole ship like opens up and it's like this giant brain that you got to kill and just like shooting like these green ooze balls at you. I thought that was one of the more interesting bosses. It kind of looked like something that would be an Alien Syndrome.
Yeah, dude, I thought some of the bosses were pretty neat like that.
Yeah, some of their designs.
I like bosses that have like multiple like phases like that, I guess. Like, you know what I mean? You go through that phase of them opening up, you have to hit them. And if you don't kill them fast enough, don't they just keep opening up and you probably get swarmed?
I think they open and close. I think it's more of a timing thing than it is like overwhelming.
Oh, okay. But it's kind of cool. Yeah, it's kind of like its own little mini game. You got to chase them around and try to blow them up as they open.
Yeah.
After you blow that up, second phase, it's like you said, that giant brain thing that spits out like green ooze balls at you, whatever that is. I don't know.
I like that fight, that boss. I think he was pretty easy if you just really focused on those like hatches that opened up. You can definitely get distracted because there's a lot of those small lizard enemies that you can get the missiles from. So it's very tempting to go after them. But if you really just kind of hyper focus on those hatches opening, he's really not even going to touch you. It's a pretty easy fight if you're really focused.
Yeah, he's not that hard, but he was pretty cool looking at least.
Yeah.
And some of the bosses aren't just like obvious bosses, you know what I mean? Like it's not just one big boss in the middle of the screen. Like some of the levels kind of feel like a boss, like the weapon factory.
Yeah.
Pretty much got to blow the wall up. So there's like stuff spawning on top of the wall, little guns, little pieces of the wall become like available to shoot and all that, and you have to like break your way through it. I think you do that a couple times.
Yeah, there was another one of the earlier space stages. It's like a floating space station thing, and there's like a ton of different compartments. You got to slowly pick away like each piece of it and blow it up as you fight all the regular enemies too. That was a really fun section as well.
I got hung up on that one for a little bit because I didn't know what else to shoot. Like I thought I blew everything up already, but there was like, because when you shoot stuff, like gradually as you destroy it, it starts like the sprites change, so it looks a little more damaged.
Right.
You shoot it a couple more times and it gets a little more damage, and it finally blows up. But I think I blew everything up except like one building off to the right, kind of in the background or something. Like the sprite looked like it was blown up, so I was like, dude, what am I doing? I'm just like shooting nothing. I'm like, I don't know how to get through this. And eventually I think I swiped my cursor over it, and I still had to shoot it a couple more times to actually blow it up.
Yeah, like I was saying earlier, some of the stuff's like further in the background, so it looks like you can't even shoot that. Like it's kind of grayed out, like it's not part of the stage, but it is something you got to blow up. Luckily, though, when you shoot stuff that is able to blow up, it like flashes like red or orange, so you do know that it's something you can kill.
Yeah, you had a couple times got stuck trying to figure out, like, do I have to sweep through the whole level again, like the whole screen, and shoot everything one more time? I think I'm missing something. I probably missed like 2 shots to actually destroy it or something like that.
Another thing that was weird about the bosses, they had to take a certain amount of damage before it would actually take a chunk out of their like visible health bar. I don't know if you guys noticed that, but it had like an internal number, like you had to like reach a certain amount of damage, and then it would show you how much damage you actually did in like little chunks. Because I know at one point I was like shooting the final boss and his health wasn't moving. I was like, am I like doing what's going on? Like he's blinking, like what's going on? And then like after a few seconds it would chunk his health a little bit.
Yeah, it almost made you feel like you weren't doing anything to it until that part broke off and you could finally see actually making some progress on the health
Yeah.
bar. I think there was a boss like that earlier too. One of the first couple bosses I think had something like that.
So do you guys want to hop in and talk about that final boss fight?
Yeah, let's do it.
Brad, you seem to think it's easier than I do, so I'll let you talk about it.
I mean, I don't know. I didn't really have much trouble. I saved like from the stage before, I had like a ton of missiles left over. And then leading up to the boss, I thought it was super easy. You're just kind of like flying through this tunnel. And then you come up to where the boss is, and you like, blow up like this little green chamber. And I think that gives you one of like the super bombs, which I guess is just a stronger bomb. I don't really know what the difference was, but I guess you can like upgrade them. But yeah, I would just kind of stay on one side and just spam all my bombs. As soon as he would shoot something at me, I would just barrel roll. And how we were saying, you get like that invincibility for a couple seconds. Nothing would hurt me. And I just keep on spamming more bombs. As soon as the lasers would come, barrel roll again and just shoot some more bombs. So I just kind of abused that barrel roll and he couldn't really even touch me.
See, I didn't have as much luck with the rolling as you guys did. I used it like for movement and for getting out of the way of lasers, but I didn't really seem to be able to use it to like, like you can roll as the laser's hitting you. I couldn't really seem to use it in that way too well. For me, it was more just a way to move out of the way before it got to you.
Yeah, I played it like the same as you, Jordan, because there were a couple times like I didn't actually know. I wasn't 100% sure if it was an iframe. Like I knew that there were times where like it seemed like it was, but I didn't know if I just got lucky or like the way the sprites were lining up, it just looked like it hit me, but it didn't. So I didn't actually know it was an iframe. So I definitely played it as if it wasn't. But I did kill the boss as well, and he didn't kill me at all. But I was actually like shooting him, and then I was dodge rolling out of the way of things, and I was shooting all of the lasers that were coming at me. So I was definitely playing it like very active, but yeah, I didn't think he was like that hard.
No, I didn't have too much problem with him either. I think I died
Fair
once because I misjudged I wasn't sure how close I could let like a laser beam get to me before I roll through it. So I think I misjudged that and I died on one of those. For the most part, yeah, every time you throw like that volley of like fireball things or whatever, you let him get pretty close, you dodge roll right through it.
Yeah, he had that like laser attack that covers pretty much the entire screen horizontally, and not really being able to take full advantage of the roll. More or less what I was trying to do was shoot the lasers before they hit me, which was incredibly hard to do because they just kind of move too fast to do it efficiently. So, I mean, if I was able to finish this final boss as well as you guys did, I would have cut a lot of credits off of my total. Unfortunately, that's where I spent the majority of mine, probably. He gave me a pretty tough time.
Yeah, majority of my credits were racked up just from learning the game, you know what I mean, just through the levels and all that kind of stuff. Like after playing it now and like understanding a dodge roll, I feel like I could easily 1cc this game.
Ooh.
I feel like I could do it. I didn't get anywhere near a 1cc, but I definitely see it being possible.
It's one of the games that would take less work, I think, than a lot.
Yeah, I don't think I have to play it too much to actually like 1cc this thing.
Maybe I'll try it again here and see if I can take advantage of the rolling a little better.
I mean, you do have to time it right. Sometimes, like, how that final boss, he'll shoot the lasers. It'll be like in sets of two. Like, you know what I mean? There's like two, and there's two more behind it. Sometimes if you don't do it right, you'll dodge one, and the second one, like, behind it will still get you because you don't have that much vulnerability. So the timing is still a little tricky, but it's possible just to freely dodge it.
Can you set this up? Like, I use a controller for this, but can you set this up to play it with your mouse?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I mean, I'm sure there's some sort of tool. I mean, on the PC now, you can do anything. I'm sure you can bind, you know what I mean, like a joystick to a mouse instead. There's probably something, but I don't know for sure.
If you could get this to your mouse, like it would be the easiest thing in the world.
Yeah.
Just
That might be too
clicking.
easy.
Yeah. I don't know. That'd be weird because it wouldn't give you the sensitivity because you can't break like the mechanics of the game. You know what I mean? It only moves so much.
Yeah, you wouldn't have the different sensitivity, but like the angles and stuff that you move it at would be like perfect.
Yeah, it'd be fun to play around with.
Sky, I know that you had to appreciate the music in this game.
Yeah, I wanted to say something about that. I don't think the music fits. I don't think it fits at all.
It doesn't fit great, but somebody was shredding on that guitar.
It just sounds.
Dude.
It's just like a dude just straight up like open mic night, just jamming,
She was going hard, dude.
just shredding his little pentatonic scales for like 3 hours.
I knew that you were gonna appreciate that. I mean, it's like instantly too. Like as soon as you kick the game up, you just hear that guitar going ham, and I'm like, oh, Sky loves this. I just know he does.
Yeah, I was expecting some different kind of sounds for like an arcade game, not like just some dude jamming in his garage.
It was solid. Definitely like a solid rock track.
Even the sound quality of it like isn't like that good. Like it just sounds like a guy that didn't know how to record stuff.
I mean, this is on like probably the newer end of games we played. This one's from 1994. A lot of the games we've done so far have been like kind of like early 90s, and this one's kind of like a little later. So I guess they can make
Yeah.
it sound a little better.
It's like more real. Like it sounded like someone was actually playing like a guitar for this,
Uh huh.
rather
was
than
pretty
like
solid.
built-in sound chips and all that.
I knew you'd appreciate it.
It was better, but it reminded me of Biomechanical Toy, how it kind of the music did not fit with it at all. It was just like there
Yeah.
was music going on and there was gameplay, but they weren't related at all.
That did not set the atmosphere for this game in the slightest.
At first, I was like, what is this? And I kind of got in and just, all right, I'm kind of jamming now, man.
Yeah.
By the end of it, I was like, yeah, let's get them. Let's get these
Let's
lizards.
go.
I like the.
It was
I think it
solid.
changes up for the bosses though. I think you get slightly different music for the boss.
I think there's some variation. I didn't notice, but it's like, what, 2 tracks the whole way through?
Yeah, pretty much. Is the cutscene music different too? Isn't that like some like tribal drum things?
Yeah,
drum beat
they
going
just
on.
switch that up.
That's pretty cool. I like that part.
Alright, so there's one other thing I wanted to bring up in this game before we moved on, and it's at the very end of the game, so I figured we'd save it for the end of the discussion. I think maybe I don't know if I want to say it's better than the bad translation and voice acting, but definitely like one of the top 2 parts of this game is the very ending screen, and
Yeah.
I'm sure you guys know what I mean. So after you beat the game, it shows one of the enemy ships, and it zooms in on the cockpit of this ship, and inside are like 6 of these little reptile aliens that have the human heads of the developers of the game. For some reason, this is now going to join the club that we've started of arcade games that are using pictures of real life human beings in the game at one point. It's going to join Prop Cycle and Biomechanical Toy. Were there any other ones?
Not that I can think of.
I mean, JJ Squawkers had that one in the beginning. That was it.
It wasn't a real person. He just looked kind of human-esque for like the rest of the game.
I don't think anything else did. Boogie Wings, did that have something like that or no?
I don't remember.
I might be wrong on that. I thought
Who
Boogie
knows?
Wings did.
But either way, it's a great image. I will have to be sure to post it because it's like their faces are still green to match the body, but it's a very cartoony lizard body with just real human heads on top of them.
They're all angry and stuff. The one guy has like a thumbs down. He's like thumbs down in you. The other guy's shaking his fist at you.
Yeah.
Oh man, I love that kind of kick out of
they're
it.
the lizards. They're mad that you're winning.
Yeah, they got their little tails wagging and stuff. I can't believe you destroyed my ship.
All right, boys. Any other things you want to bring up here?
I mean, other than just like a general thing, you could take 2 hits before you die. It's like you had a pretty big health bar, but you get hit once and it goes down to like almost none, and you get hit a
Nothing.
second time and you
Yeah.
die. And then another thing, the version we all played, when you're in the spaceship, you can't move like freely like you can when you're walking on the skateboard back and forth. Whenever you try to move, it just makes you barrel roll. Apparently, there's a version of the game where you can move freely back and forth, and then you can still do your little barrel roll, but you don't have to just only do that.
Oh,
Ah.
it drove me crazy when it rolled whenever I was just trying to move over a smidge because I would roll into attacks on accident all the time.
That's why I would just never stop shooting, especially when you're in a ship. There's no point specifically for the version we played because there's no benefit to not shooting. Because if you're going to move, you're just going to barrel roll anyway.
Well, your efficacy meter
Yeah.
might be hurt a little bit.
True. Yeah, if you're worried about that.
All right, anything else, boys, or should we move on?
I think I'm good.
I'm good.
Yeah, I'm over these lizard people.
All right, let's get over these lizard people and hop on into some numbers with Mr. Brad Wiggin instead.
All right, let's pull up the spreadsheet and let's start entering the data, boys. Let's see how many credits it took us to finish this game. Sky, you want to start it off?
Yeah, I'm a little disappointed because I know I could do it way better now after playing it and understanding the mechanics of it. But unfortunately for this episode, it took me 14 to get through it.
All right, not far off from me. I played twice. My first run was 13 credits. My second run, dude, I was like, I'm going to do so much better. I played like the first 2, like I did the whole on foot section and like 1 or 2 stages in the spaceship without even dying. And then
Jeez.
somehow still by the end of it, I had 12 credits. So I don't know what went wrong, but yeah, my best was 12.
Well, I landed right in the middle of you guys at 13.
Okay.
All right, Big J.
I did pretty bad then, I guess. Maybe just because I couldn't get the dodging down like you guys did, but I finished with 19.
That's not bad. I mean, once you figure out that mechanic, it makes it a little easier.
Yeah,
Yep.
for sure.
One of those ones, maybe I'll try it again. I say that a lot, then never do, so who knows.
You do say that a few times.
I
Like,
do
I'm
be
definitely going to
saying
go back
that.
and do this. And
I do be
you're
saying
not
that
doing
sometimes.
it. You ain't playing shit. What are you talking about?
I got some Radiant Dawn to play, dog. What can I say?
All right, we'll go into a rating then. This one we're going out at 280 for the 280% you need to launch your spaceship whenever you first get in that we talked about earlier. So out of 280, I'll start off. I'm giving it a 201 out of 280. Just like I was saying before, it never feels cheap. You typically get like that visual cue, like an enemy's about to spawn before they attack and stuff like that. So it's not really like it's a bullet hell and like swarming you a lot. So I had pretty fun with it. I'd like like I was saying about the death animations on some of the enemies, how they kind of explode, looked pretty cool. I mean, you gotta love that voice acting and dialogue. That was great. And the game overall was pretty short and simple. It's easy to hop in and finish. So I'm also gonna say, Jordan, I'm gonna guess you picked this game. You looked at our spreadsheet of games. It was like one of the first ones because it's ALL. So you clicked on that. You clicked on a video gameplay of it, and you saw it was under a half hour. So like, yep, that's my game.
That is like the first step when it comes to me picking a game is seeing if it's fairly short.
It's right at the top of the list. It's probably one of the first ones you see on this spreadsheet.
Actually, no. So what I
No?
typically do is I'll go through the spreadsheet and I'll just kind of like pick out a name that sounds interesting, and typically I'll go down near the bottom first, so I'm not just going right from the top. And I looked at maybe like 5 or 6 other games first, and then I went back up to the top and I checked this one out, and I was like, this looks pretty dope. I'm down for this one.
It was a solid choice. I enjoyed it. All right, Kyle, you got your rating for us?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna give it a 210. I enjoyed it. I wish there was a little bit, maybe like at least like one more level on the skateboard, so like maybe like split it up. But it was kind of cool. I liked that there was a transition, so you were on the skateboard and on planet first, and then like you got into the ship, into the space. So it was cool that happened. I just wish there was a little bit more skateboarding. The enemies, like I said, there's like they all look different, but like they all mostly did the same thing. So there wasn't like a giant variety in that. The gameplay I thought was fun. The barrel rolling was fun. To even like I said, I didn't really even know that the barrel roll was an iframe. But even without it being an iframe, like the dodge rolling and stuff felt good enough that like you could definitely avoid a lot of things. So it wasn't like it was like if you didn't do the iframes that you were dying 1,000 times more than someone who was. And then the bosses were, I think maybe 2 of them were decent. Like the end boss was cool, and the one that you guys mentioned with all the panels that open up, like that guy was cool. The other one was kind of mid, but whatever. But yeah, it was relatively short. It kind of was like right around my sweet spot. I feel like me and Jordan are pretty close to the same there when it comes to like the length of these things. Like anything like over a half hour, I start to get like kind of like really bored of it. So I feel like they did a pretty good job of like, all right, this is the game. This is all the stuff you can do. Takes you 25 minutes to a half hour in and out. So I'm gonna land at 210.
Game's getting some nice, decent ratings.
Decent. I mean, they're like middling, I think. They're not like, I don't know, somewhere around the 70-ish%, I would assume. I didn't even do the math on it.
I think I might be the highest here. I'm gonna give this baby a 230.
Oh, okay. Going up
Dude,
there.
I like this game a lot.
Wait, you're giving it a what?
I'm giving this out of 280, right?
Yeah.
I'm giving this a 230, man.
Well, you better call the dentist.
Woo! Oh,
And there's Kyle.
Oh, it's 230, boy.
There's Kyle's one for the episode.
I did that for Jordan.
Thank you.
Edit in
Knock
the
it in there.
little drum roll there.
He always gets one.
Yeah, this game was fun. It was one of the more generous games too, with like you die in 2 hits, but you can destroy pretty much every projectile that comes at you. You can destroy. Your dodge roll makes you invincible. The little bomb guys, like you can stock up. Like Jordan had 99 bombs multiple times. That's crazy. You never run out of firepower. The graphics I thought were pretty cool for these kind of games. Like I love sprite work, and this was like really, really good sprites. It's cool how you can destroy stuff in the background, and like the bosses have multiple phases and multiple pieces you can blow up. Of course, the cutscenes are pretty funny, but whatever. They were kind of funny. I mean, I got bored of the music. I just from playing guitar, I get bored of hearing the pentatonic scale. But other than that, I mean, I don't know. This game was super fun though. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, I mean, for pretty much all the reasons everybody else said. I mean, this game gives me some hardcore Star Fox vibes, which Star Fox 64, I mean, it's one of my favorite games of all time. And this is gonna for sure be as close as we get to that on the arcade. Yeah, it's super fun. I think it's the kind of like the third person on rails, like reticle aiming kind of thing. I think that's way more fun than any other shooter we've really done so far. The terrible, terrible voice acting and translation and cutscenes gives it so many bonus points because, oh my god, it was so enjoyable to listen to. It's, yeah, the difficulty feels just right. It doesn't feel unfair, but it doesn't feel like so easy that it's not worth playing. It's nice and short, as we've said. That's always a sweet spot for me. Like a game that takes about 30 minutes or so is pretty solid for me. These games we do that take like 45 minutes to an hour, they drag like crazy. And this one was not that. This was a good length. Sky, you're not the highest because I was going for an 85% here. So I ended up with a 238 out of 280.
Hey, nice.
Oh man, good scores for this one. Well, if we all got our scores in, let's move right into the rankings and see where it falls among the 33 other games we've played so far.
I'm high, man. I'm real high.
Real high. Okay. I was saying at least above 14. So that was my starting point. If you guys want to go higher, we can talk, but I'm saying at least above 14.
Pretty easily above 14.
Yeah.
I'd go
Shadow Force, you're right.
I'd go like 8.
Up to 8? Dropping Out Zone down. Whoa.
I'd definitely rather do this in Out Zone.
That's big.
Oof. I don't think that's big at all. I'd do this over Out Zone every single time.
Top 8's big numbers. What do you mean?
I could put this at like 11 or 12 personally.
Kyle, let's get your spot to jump off of compared to us.
I mean, above Out Zone is kind of crazy.
It's weird because like it's you're putting it, because obviously we have to like agree on this, so it's like I'm putting it below things that I don't want it to go below and putting it above things I don't want it to go above. So it's goofy.
Right.
Like I think it's better than Out Zone, but I'd rather play the Punisher, which is below that, and I don't know, it just gets kind of weird. But
I could go like above or below Mazinger.
That's probably the best point of reference because it's another, flying shoot 'em up like that. That's sitting at 10 right now, Mazinger.
I'd be above Mazinger personally.
I think I'd like Mazinger a little more overall, but what's everyone else thinking here? Jordan says above. I was somewhere in the range of it. I would go under Mazinger.
I mean, I could see it at 11.
For reference here, everyone listening, right now Street Fighter 2's at 11, so we're talking about bumping Street Fighter 2 down one for this.
Yeah,
Just
but I think they all know by now that none of us are Street Fighter guys.
We got some flack for that episode.
Yeah.
Listen,
Oh,
it was
well,
just
sorry,
it's a
man,
childhood it's a childhood favorite, but I was not the smartest child. So.
I mean, if you don't like it, you don't really like it. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I personally didn't really like it, but whatever.
Street Fighter?
Mm-hmm.
No, I love it, but I'm just not good at it.
I think I was pushing for top 5, just saying, but we don't got to dig that up right now.
Nah.
Yeah, I think Mazinger is probably a little bit better than this, so I could put this. I would settle right below Mazinger.
I'm outnumbered.
That's what I'm thinking.
I mean, in this situation, I would actually say it goes under Street Fighter, but we can go right above it if that's what you guys all want.
Street Fighter's too classic for me. I'd rather it be, I don't know. That is tough.
Whatever, 11 or 12. I'm not super dead set on it. I mean, just somewhere in that range I feel is good.
Yeah, I'm the same. I don't really care. If it's in that range, if somebody really feels strongly about it in that range, then go for it. But
I think you should put it below Joe and Mac Returns for Kyle.
Hey,
Joe and Mac.
Nah, yeah, either above or below Street Fighter is fine. It's like I really want it above things like Out Zone and whatnot, but yeah, it's hard to put it above stuff like Street Fighter.
Yeah, well, the thing for Kyle and Sky are much lower on Street Fighter than me and you. I think Street Fighter would be a bit higher if it was just me and you, Jordan. So it's kind of one of those things where it's like, I know it's better than a couple of games up there, but it's not better than Street Fighter, so I don't know.
Throw it below Street Fighter.
Right under Street Fighter 2?
Yeah. Street Fighter is a classic, man. It's just this is a great game, but it's not a classic.
The word classic means nothing to me when we do this.
yeah, me too.
If I don't like something,
I
I don't
agree.
like it, man. I don't care.
I agree. I think Street Fighter 2 is mostly just like nostalgic. Like when I said when we were playing through that, it reminded me of just like sitting down playing through the single player by myself a long time ago.
Like, to me, Altered Beast was one of the all-time classics for me, and I had to throw it at 27, so...
Yeah, that was bad. That was bad.
I think something like that's more of like a tiebreaker, though, is what I'm saying. Like if it's like we don't know if this should go above or below Street Fighter, then it's like
Yeah.
then it can come into
Yeah, I mean,
into the
sometimes that
discussion.
factors in, but it's a very, very small factor for me.
Hmm.
Almost non-existent. I don't really care whether I like it or not.
Yeah, I think that's the ultimate decision is if what in the moment what you think's better, if you kind of throw away what other people. That's what it comes down to when you're talking classics. It's like, other people think this is really good, so I should think it's good. But
Yeah, I don't care.
we don't do
about
that here. Yeah, we don't care about that. This is what we think.
Well, it's like Joe Rogan used to say,
Oh
looks
god.
like classic is not a factor for you.
Is that what he
Oh my
says?
god.
If you know, you know.
Don't think he ever said that.
Skylar gets it, I think.
I mean, I get it, but
So what are we thinking?
I think it's going right under Street Fighter 2.
I'm good with that.
cool.
Alrighty, so let's lock it in. We got Street Fighter 2 at 11, Alligator Hunt at 12, Joe and Mac Returns at 13. Sorry about that, Mike. And alright, let's move into trivia.
Let's move into trivia. Sky, you're leading the way at 61, my friend. You got a pretty decent lead here over Brad in second place with 50. Kyle, you're still trying to creep up in there to second place with 47. Once again, you can make it happen today if you play your cards right. It's just up to whether or not this is one of those days Kyle feels like following the trend or not, because he never seems to know which way to go. And I would also like to point out that you guys actually ruined one of my trivia questions talking earlier, so I changed it to something else. And then you ruined that one again as well, so I had to change it to something else again. So
Nice,
I think
nice.
we're okay though.
Oh man, Jordan, your trivia is such a bore.
that was like half Spanish and half Japanese.
That's what I was going for. Thank you.
Okay, great job.
I was trying to throw some Arnold in there, but it's hard to put Arnold in there too. I don't know how they did that.
You're trying too much, man.
I got to be more general.
Let's put that effort into trivia, my friend, with question number 1. So I was not able to find this personally, but I read on a website that this is a thing. On one of the original flyers for this game, it says the story of this game is set in what year? A, 2019, B, 2035, C, 2053.
I'm just going to go with the highest one, man. 2053.
I'm going 2019. Because back when this was released, that was probably pretty far into the future, they thought.
I'm going to go right in the middle, 2035.
All right, the correct answer is going to be A, 2019.
Oh, nice.
So this happened 6 years ago.
So that's what they thought COVID was going to be. Everyone turns into lizards.
Man.
I mean, I probably sounded like a lizard when I got COVID, so.
Don't remember any lizard people running around, though, thankfully.
So COVID came from energy drinks.
Yeah.
God damn it. But let's move into question number 2. And this is the one I had to replace twice. Originally, it was what was the maximum point total you could get? Because you could shoot the point icons on the screen, and every time you shot it, the point total went higher and
Yeah.
higher. The first one was what was the max point total? Brad ruined that one. I changed it to what speed did you have to get to make the ship take off? Then Sky ruined that one. And so we
It
ended
was
up
our score, too, so either way, that one was
yeah,
great.
that one was dead in the water. So we ended up with this one, which is something I just noticed from watching multiple versions of this game on YouTube here. So during the cutscenes inside of your ship, there's a timer next to a light that reads countdown. What number is on this timer? And these are all single digit number, colon, 2 numbers, so kind of like a time. A, 490. B, 530. C, 610.
Oh, man, that's a detail I never noticed.
Nah, I'll just go with 530.
Okay.
What was the first one?
490.
Well, we'll go with 490.
Okay.
I'm going 610.
All right. Kyle, not following the pack's kind of hurting you today. Correct answer is going to Sky. It's A, 490.
I couldn't follow the pack. They both picked different ones.
The pack split up, man.
Oh, man, it's killing you, though. You're going to fall further behind.
He's just making sure someone gets it right this time.
Now, this time, he's going to agree with one of you guys, and it's going to be wrong, so we'll see. Question number 3. What was the only other game published by Galeco that we have played on the podcast? A, Mega Twins. B, Biomechanical Toy. C, Boogie Wings.
Dude, I feel like it's Biomechanical Toy because of music.
It's gotta
Okay.
be. That's what I'm saying too. I feel like it feels similar. I'm going with that.
It's probably the same guy jamming.
Is Kyle gonna follow the pack, or is he gonna blaze his own trail?
I'm with the pack, dude.
Good call. The correct answer is biomechanical toy.
Of
Nice.
course. He's still jamming to this day, man. The same tune.
I was gonna say you mentioned that earlier too. You brought up biomechanical toy, and I was like, uh-oh, now they're gonna all
Yes.
get it right.
I was just listening to the music. I was like, this sounds like what it was like in Biomechanical Toy. Just like doesn't fit the game at all, but he's just jamming.
If you guys remember, this is also Galeco. That's also the company that we said in trivia for Biomech Toy. They're the company that started making electronic dartboards as well after arcade games. They didn't make like, a
Ah.
lot. They didn't make a lot of
Okay.
arcade games. They kind of started focusing on more stuff like that. But
I wonder if whenever the dart hits the board, it's just like, wow, 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 wow.
I'm gonna guess probably not. But you can always go check.
Every time you hit it, you get a clip of that guy jamming out on guitar.
Go find a Galeco dartboard for us and let us know how it goes. All right, though. Wrapping up trivia. Sky, you're still leading the way. 2 correct, 63. Brad, also 2 correct at 52. Kyle just won today. You're at 48. That'll wrap up trivia. So, anything else we want to talk about here, boys, or are we pretty much all finished for this one?
I think I'm lizard out, dude. You bore me.
Damn, dude. All right, well, I guess we'll just worry then about our game for next time. Next time on Arcadiology, we have Smash TV. You can follow us on all social media at Arcadiology. Send us questions at arcadiologyquestions@gmail.com or use the link in the podcast bio. Join up on our free Discord. I have actually kept my promise, and I said I was going to start using Discord more, and I have been. I mean, mostly in like other people's Discords because there's not a whole lot of posts in ours quite yet. But Old Switcheroo, that's one. That's some guys we know. I'm active on there. The Cable Club podcast. That's the show that we're gonna be on there pretty soon. I talked to those guys in there and here and there too. But hop on our Discord, start some chats up. Let's talk about some games and stuff. As always, we'd appreciate it if you leave us a 5-star review. I would love to read one of those on the air here. And before we close it out, I want to throw it to Brad. He's got something he wants to say as well.
Yeah, speaking of the Cable Club podcast, as of this going live, this will be going live on a Tuesday. Yesterday will be Monday. There should be a new episode of the Cable Club podcast that I was a guest on. So it's fresh out the gates, new release. We're going to be discussing the infamous JJ Squawkers. So,
Nice.
oh yeah.
No, it's funny that I said that then because I knew that you were
Yeah.
going to be on it as well, but I didn't realize that you had already recorded with them.
Yep, it'll be coming out. Or actually, it'll be out now. So yeah, we'll get to see what they think of this crazy game. That's my goal here: spread the good word of JJ Squawkers as many years as possible, regardless of where it ranks. You know.
Yeah, I'm not going to say what game I'm doing with them yet because I'm not recording with them until March, so I don't want to spoil anything, but it's not an arcade game. So I know that you said you wanted to do an arcade game kind of because it's our thing, and I was like, I'll let you handle that. I want to talk about something I
Yeah.
just like truly love, so I'll just handle that.
Yeah, I did this. I did 2-in-1. It's an arcade game, and it's something I truly love. So
That's fair. Hey, I'm not
Yeah.
saying I absolutely love some of these games we play, but you know
Right.
what I meant here. It's kind of going a different direction. I figured I'd let you handle the arcade aspect. Kind of wish you would have picked a different one, but I guess it's okay.
no.
B's going door to door with that, man.
That's right, man.
Excuse me, do you have time to talk about JJ Squawkers?
Our Lord and Savior, JJ Squawkers.
But for their podcast, they're doing like this league where every episode they focus on a different retro game, and they try to get different guests for like every episode. The guest brings the game pretty much. Like they pick a game, the 3 guys on there will play it as well as you. You go on the show and talk about them with it, and then at the end of the episode, they do it without you, but they do a ranking, and then they're gonna have like I think there's like 5 different tiers, and you kind of see where your slot's in, and then I guess they're gonna do like prizes at the end of the year, and like for each tier group, whatever one's at the top of the list, I think gets something. But I don't know, it's just fun to do. So that's what they're doing. Definitely check them out.
I cannot wait to hear their response to it. Like, I'm so curious to hear if they're more towards your direction, my direction, or somewhere in the middle. Like, I have no clue what they're going to think about it. But don't spoil it, obviously, but very
We shall
curious to
see.
see how it goes.
But yeah, that's it. Go check that out. I'll have a link in our description to go listen to their episode.
Sick. All right, well, that's all I got, boys. So if you want to go ahead and hop off here, go ahead and say goodbye.
See ya.
See you later.
Later, dudes.
Insert that closing line here. Goodbye.